I want everyone to know about Jim Capobianco's upcoming 12th annual Bay Area International Children's Film Festival, which is happening on February 22nd and 23rd at the Chabot Space and Science Center in Oakland, California, for an amazing weekend of international films, animation workshops, and special events. So tell us about that.
The Bay Area International Children's Film Festival, we started it 12 years ago. Yeah, we will be showing some amazing stuff. We actually have Hair Love. We'll be showing Hair
Oh,
Love, the
great.
Oscar-winning short. We have a great panel, Cuckoo Studios, my old pals from Pixar, Alex Wu, and, Tim Hahn, and Stanley Moore. Started this amazing studio called Cuckoo Studios, and their first out of the box hit is Go Corey Carson, playing on Netflix. It's a great, wonderful preschool show, and that I do a voice in. I'm Gary Garbage. Hello, Corey. Hey, it's Gary. I'll be moderating the panel with them, and they're going to go behind the scenes of how they put together the show, and also showing a few episodes that have not aired yet on Netflix. So it's kind of a special little event there. It's a part of our How Do They Do That series, where we go behind the scenes of how films are made and all that stuff. And then that's on Saturday. Sunday, we have Valerie Lapointe will be there with Lamp Life, and she will go behind the scenes, talk about how the Pixar short that she directed, Lamp Life, was made. That, I believe, is now streaming on Disney Plus. But she'll show the short and show some behind the scenes stuff, and also talk about making Toy Story 4. Some great stuff there. We'll also have a couple of Spark shorts from Pixar as well, with the directors, Bobby Rubio's Float, and Loop there by Erica Milstrom will be shown, and they're also going to show a little behind the scenes and talk about making those films. So that's on Sunday as well. Some, very mainstream things, but then the main part of the festival is we've got films from all over the world, animated and live action documentaries from all over the world for kids. Some are made by kids. Last year we showed the Dog Story Part 1. This year we're showing Dog Story Part 2. So if you're a fan of Dog Story, come and see the sequel. It's really lovely. He does it all with paper cutout drawings.
Oh, wow.
And the storytelling is actually, I believe he's like 10 years old, and the storytelling is really good. It's really fun and quirky, and it's just these little gems I find for the festival that just I just love finding these things and being able to share them with everybody, because you will never see this stuff anyplace else.
Right.
Yeah, we have a bunch of, so we have different blocks of short films, and then we're also showing two great feature films as well during the weekend. We have a film called Microplastic Madness, which is a film about basically our plastic problem.
Right.
And it was made by a group called Cafeteria Culture in Brooklyn, and they had a school, a fifth or sixth grade class in Brooklyn, learned about plastics from the very beginning of where they came from, how they were invented, all the way to the problem we have today with plastics, and how they're kind of destroying our environment and stuff. And they go through a sort of like what they're doing to solve the problem. So it's a great documentary. It's all told from the kids' point of view. They made the film. It's really special, and we're going to do a follow-up plastics lab with Tierney Ties, who is a National Geographic explorer, marine biologist, and she's coming to sort of explain to the kids more about this problem, and also do some look under microscopes and see the plastics in our clothing and in different fabrics and stuff. And it's really hands-on, great stuff. And here you are with a true blue, wonderful lady who's just this, scientist, explorer who, swims with the sharks and stuff, and she's fantastic. I mean that in the best way, swimming with the sharks.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
okay.
You. Yeah,
you got it. All right.
Yeah, no problem.
And then we have this other great film. I gotta tell you, this is another amazing film. It's called Child of Nature, and it was made by a Brazilian filmmaker, and it one of our theme this year for the festival, we have a theme every year, and it's called the theme is the power of kids. And I know this is an animation podcast, so
Hmm.
we'll kind of get through this, but
No, that's all right.
um, so it's about the power of kids, and he made a documentary called The Child of Nature, and it goes around the world and picks up these stories of these children who are changing their communities. They're like Greta Thunberg, but like doing it in different ways, like just taking initiative and doing what they can to make their communities better. And they're really these wonderful, heartwarming, amazing stories about children changing the world. I cannot recommend this film enough. And it's also not something that's out really yet.
Uh-huh.
So I think it will be. This guy's super talented, Marcos Negros. You will be seeing a lot from this guy, but right now it's not there. But it is at our film festival,
Oh,
so people
wow.
could come and check it out.
That sounds
So
great. Yeah. I mean, everything you kept mentioning, I just like, oh, how can I go? How can I how can I get there? Oh, I can't go. Next year maybe. But
Southwest, man, it's on you.
yeah, if anybody is in this area, definitely go to that cuz that sounds like a
Hmm.
fun festival. You're going to learn something really
It's
interesting there, see some really amazing
oh,
things. So,
yeah, it's just great. It's we have something for everybody, and I think we also do these animation workshops for kids. We teach stop motion animation with an actual clay puppet, armatured clay puppet that's made by Nikki Lapointe, and she used to work for Gumby.
mm,
The Gumby Studios, and so she makes these little clay dudes, she calls them, and they are the body of Gumby,
mhm.
and has a round circular head instead of Gumby's like squared off head.
Right.
And the kids get those as a puppet, and they can decorate them, and then they learn a bit about stop motion animation by animating the puppet.
Mhm.
So we have that workshop. We have a found objects workshop where you could just take anything on your desk and animate that,
Mhm.
and like Legos and screws and things like that.
Mhm.
And then also pixelation, we teach that
Oh,
as
that's fun.
well. So we try to teach stuff that kids can take home with them and keep doing at home
Mhm.
and keep animating. And at the end of each day's festival, we show the workshop films. We edit them all together and we show them up on the big screen. And that's always a highlight of the festival where the kids get to see their animation up on
Mhm.
the screen and come down and take a bow.
Wow, that's
So,
nice.
yeah, so,
Oh, okay. Great.
yeah.
Wow.
So the film festival, Bay Area International Children's Film Festival, started with my daughter's school, which is called the Renaissance International School. And we had just joined the school, and a bunch of the parents had decided to create a fundraiser for the school. And because we had just started there, and I was working at Pixar at the time, they were like, "Oh, you're the family from Pixar, and
Mhm.
we're going to start this film festival to raise money for the school. Would you, maybe you could find us films?" And I was also making Leonardo, the short film at the time, and so I said, "Oh, well, yeah, I could do that." And I really wanted to fit it. We wanted to fit in with the parents and everybody at the school, so it seemed like a way to do that and a fun thing too. So I said, "Sure, I'll find you films." And then I'm also making this short film, and they were like, "Oh, well, you could put that in the festival." So we did. We showed like a work in progress of the short. It wasn't quite done yet, and then and also I just went to all my friends at Pixar and I said, "Hey, can I get your student films or any kind of short films you've made in the past, and can we put them into this festival?" And it was a 1 day event, and we opened it up to the public, and it was really successful. A lot of people came, and so we did it again the second year. And that year, I kind of at that point had finished Leonardo and started traveling with it, so I would see short films and I would ask those filmmakers if we could include them in the film festival. So I would always tell people, if you make a short film, uh, why not come up with your own film festival? You at least you get into one. Um, so so then it grew from there. After about 3 or 4 years, we had become it had become a 2 day festival, and it's doing pretty well, that we moved it away from the school so that we could have the freedom of it being its own entity and not having to like, worry about any of the rules the school might have and stuff about films we could show. So then it became its own entity, and at that point we needed to move it to the Chabot Space and Science Center because we needed kind of an infrastructure, an institution underneath it to
Hmm.
help facilitate it and provide, people to help us collect tickets and have a theater and all these other things. So it's been at Chabot now for the past 6 years, I think. So, and Chabot, I don't know if people don't know, that is a great science and space museum in the Oakland Hills. They have these old observatories. It's just a really great hidden gem. So if you're ever up in the Bay Area, it's a wonderful place to go check out. Up in the woods, in the redwoods in Oakland, it's just great. So,
Wow. Okay, that sounds great. I lived there for a while. I didn't even know it was there. I want to thank Jim Capobianco for coming in and talking about what he's doing these days. And if anybody is in this area, definitely go to that because that sounds like a fun festival. You're going to learn something really interesting there and see some really amazing things.
oh,